Internet, Eric here. Tonight I'm going to do. I came up with the idea for my channel called "Is It Worth the Hate?" And this is where I discuss a film that I've never seen before, or maybe I've seen it once, fucking 15 years ago, or and I don't remember anything from it, or I've just seen little bits and pieces of it. And it's notoriously known, either by fans or by critics, or both, to being, a horrible, horrible film. And I watched it for the first time and, basically, open mind, deciding, is it worth the hate? And tonight I am going to discuss. I usually, if I don't have a physical copy, if you're new to my channel, I usually have a physical copy of the movie in my hand, or I print something out on my computer, and I have neither of those. So, I have a screenshot on my phone, and let's see here, if I can find it. Yep. Tonight I am going to discuss, beware the glare, you'll see when it darkens a little bit, I'm going to discuss 2015's Fantastic Four. Now this is the third. There you go. Okay, this is the third Fantastic Four film that has been released. Well, the first one was done by Roger Corman. That was not ever released in theaters, and I'm not counting the sequel to, the other Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Now, I have a couple notes discussing Fantastic Four, because I want to be a little prepared. I want to explain a little bit why this is so apparently hated. Okay, Fantastic Four came out in 2015. It had a budget of it had a budget of 120 million, and it made 168 million. At the Golden Raspberries, the Razzies, it won Worst Director, it won Worst Remake, and it also won Worst Picture. An average grade of a C minus. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 9%, which ended up being a 3.4 out of 10. Now, I don't really give a shit about Rotten Tomatoes, but that's, just part of the little research. And the main thing that fans were, of course, ripping on, because comic book fans are the fucking hardest ones to please in the world. They were pissed that Johnny Storm is now black. What they fucking do. There was... I don't have the director's name written down. I don't care. I'll put the name in the subtitles. Apparently, there was a lot of clash between the director and Fox. And Fox made him do a lot of reshoots. Apparently, there is a version, he says, of the Fantastic Four that he filmed that will never see the light of day. There's a totally different version of his film. When the cast was asked about his film, or this film, a lot of them say, while it was in theaters, even they hadn't seen the movie themselves. Lots and lots of controversy, blah, blah, blah. If you want to know more, just go to Wikipedia. But that's the gist of it. And fans were, like I said, comic book fans are... If you want to know what I think about comic book fans, go into my playlist called Drunken Rants. And I think it's number 4, where I talk about how comic book fans are just fucking hard to please. And a lot of them were pissed that, Johnny Storm, who was a white guy, white character in the comics, was played by Michael B. Jordan, who is black, whatever. And there was also a rumor going around that was proven to be false, that, that never happened, that Dr. Doom, whose real name is Victor Von Doom, was going to turn into instead of being a scientist or a wizard or whatever the fuck he is. Just so you know, I don't really know too much about Dr. Doom or a lot of the Fantastic Four. But Victor Von Doom was going to be renamed Victor Domashev, and he was going to be a computer hacker. So that's a lot of the negative stuff. That's what I knew going into this film. Now, let me give you the plot summary a little bit. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do... Whoa! I do give some potential spoilers when discussing the film, but that's just how I do it. And basically, you've been warned. But then again, it's the Fantastic Four. And I'm sure none of you have any desire to see this film, and probably none of you have. So, we start out, and we meet a young Reed Richards, who basically is the smartest kid in the world. Let's see here. And he befriends Ben Grimm. Ben is basically on the wrong side of the tracks. Poor family, they work at a junkyard, blah, blah, blah. They become friends, and Reed and him try to create a way to teleport things and bring them back. Eventually, as they get older, they figure that out. They are hired by the government, and they along with Susan Storm, her father Franklin, they help create this teleportation device. And also with the help of Johnny Storm, who is basically being forced by his father because he crashed one of his cars doing like a drag race. He's being forced to help on the project. They help create this machine. They are also being helped by Victor Von Doom, and he like Reed was able to learn how to teleport the object, whatever they want to teleport, but he did not know how to bring it back, so he quit the project, to my knowledge. And then, of course, he joins. He's jealous of Reed. You can tell he's jealous that Reed knows what he's doing. Eventually, the teleportation machine works. They go to an alternate dimension called Planet X. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll put the subtitles down. But they go to another dimension, and while they're in the dimension, they see this green fluid, and Victor touches it. The fluid gets disturbed, and the planet starts to react negatively, I'll just say. Victor is attacked by this green fluid, and he is left behind, thought to be dead. As the rest of the group get into the teleportation pods, they are affected. And Susan has stayed behind while this has happened, but she's affected as they teleport back. They are now, basically, they now have superpowers. When they come back, Susan Storm, like if you know the fucking comics, Susan Storm can turn invisible and create force fields. Reed can stretch to amazing length. Johnny is now the Human Torch, and he can turn himself, make himself become on fire and fly. And then Ben becomes the Thing, where he's just this big rock creature. And the eventually they Reed runs away, and the other three stay behind. They're working for the government, learning how to use their powers. They find Reed because they want to test this again, and they find Victor, bring Victor back, and Victor wants to merge the dimensions. It's up to the Fantastic Four to stop Victor. That's it in a nutshell. A little bit, like I said, spoilers. All right. Fantastic Four 2015. Is it worth the hate? Absolutely not. I will tell you, I had a lot of fun with this film. I was never ever bored. And yeah, I was entertained the whole time. When I put on Facebook, let me say this. When I put on Facebook that I was watching this, some people said they enjoyed some of it until the end. My sister said she fell asleep during the fucking thing. And a lot of people said they didn't watch it because of, what they heard. I will flat out say, in my opinion, this is absolutely not worth the hate. Here's why. First off, I like the beginning. I like when Reed and Ben are young kids. And I like how they show how Ben is kind of a tragic character. And how that will play into effect in, the rest of the film. But he's from this poor family. His brother beats the shit out of him all the time. And it's cool when he's picking on Ben. He smacks Ben. and he says it's clobbering time, which ends up being the Thing's signature line. Um, and when Reed and Ben become friends as they're kids, and they're going through the junkyard getting all this stuff to put together to make Reed's inventions, it gave me a real cool like Goonies vibe, or the Explorers. If you've ever seen Explorers, the Joe Dante film, I really felt like it was that type of era. The two kids, they had great chemistry. You could tell they were friends. And then when they grow up, we'll just say Miles Teller plays Reed when they're adults. Michael B. Jordan, who I saw in Creed, really good in Creed, plays Johnny Storm, Human Torch. Kate Mara plays Susan Storm. I guess she's, I've never seen her before. She's the Susan. She's the sister of Rooney Mara from Girl with Dragon Tattoo and Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Jamie Bell plays Ben Grimm, the Thing. We have Toby Kibble, who plays Victor Von Doom. And then, who I will mention is Tim Blake Nelson, who plays Harvey Allen. I'll get to him later. But I just told everybody's names. Everybody in this film is pretty damn good. I liked Miles Teller as Reed. I liked him playing the little nerd. I liked when he is trying to show that he's interested in Susan Storm, how it's very awkward. And I like how Kate Mara just kind of pushes him away. Kate Mara isn't really given a lot to do, but what she is given, she's decent. Michael B. Jordan, he's fun in this as Johnny Storm. He's not this stereotypical, because a lot of people said he was going to be a street thug because he was in a drag racing, because he's black. He wasn't. He was very likable. He was very fun. Jamie Bell isn't given a lot to do as Ben. He's just, he's just there. But when he becomes a Thing, we'll get to that. Toby Kibble as Victor. I liked his little... There's not much of a rivalry per se, other than a few montages. But I liked the rivalry you see with him and Reed. We'll say Tim Blake Nelson, who plays Harvey Allen, who I guess apparently in the comics goes on to be the Mole Man. He was good at being kind of like the slimy guy working for the Pentagon or the government or whatever he was. Basically, everybody did pretty good. But like I said, I liked the chemistry between Reed, the characters who played Reed and Ben. I liked Michael B. Jordan. I liked how he had great chemistry with the rest of the group. I mean, he didn't want to be there. He was being there because he was being punished by his father. Like I said, liked a lot of the characters. Let's see. I liked the way the characters looked. I liked the special effects for the most part. I liked the way Johnny Storm looked when he was the Human Torch. I liked the way the Thing looked. He, it's a CGI character. Jamie Bell, I guess, wore motion capture, but it's a CGI character. Looks decent for me, and he's not as polished looking as the Thing, like Michael Chiklis was, and he doesn't look like a piece of crap like the the Roger Corman version. He's got some jagged rocks here and everything. I like it a lot. I like Doom's look when Victor becomes Dr. Doom. I like the way, because apparently Victor merged with his spacesuit when he was, attacked by the green fluid in the other dimension. And I like the way he looked a lot. I liked even without the the hood and the cape. Thought he looked really cool. What else? Oh, I liked the tragedy of Ben's character. When he became the Thing. First off, let me say when they go into the other dimension, I liked the look of the other dimension. It's dark. It's dreary. It's just basically a lot of mountains and peaks and valleys and caverns and cliffs, and the way it's just dark and it's basically the opposite of, Earth. Instead of looking, nice and pretty, it's just dark and ugly. And then the contrast of the green viscous fluid or whatever that's in there. Um, I like how we see how they get their powers. Instead of it being, cosmic rays like it's been in the comics and the other two adaptations. Um, Here, when the new dimension is going to shit, and Ben's trying to close the door, and a bunch of rocks pelt him. So that's how he becomes the Thing. When Johnny closes, the window, and there's a big fire explosion, and it hits him, and it sets him on fire. That's how he becomes a Human Torch. Um, you don't really explain Susan and Reed, but that's okay. I still like the way they changed Ben and Johnny. Um, Speaking of Ben, I like how he is this tragic character now. He's the outsider because A, he comes from a poor family. And then he is just called upon Reed because he's not part of this group, building the machine. He is just an outsider. He's brought in because, he helped Reed when they were kids. But then, like, he gets affected like this for nothing. So he's this freak. And Reed sees how he is. Like, Reed escapes the room, the testing room, and he sees Ben, and Ben's, just yelling, "Reed, help me," and Reed leaves. Reed has taken off and gone into hiding, and it creates this great tension between Reed and Ben, who used to be best friends, but now Ben ends up hating Reed for abandoning him, for causing him to look like this freak. And there's this tension that, goes on between the two of them until the end of the film. I really like that. Um, let's see here. I like how after Reed is gone, Susan and Johnny and Ben are now working for like the Pentagon, working for the government. The Thing is basically now this weapon of mass destruction. They show him destroying tanks and taking out soldiers. Johnny is taking out drones flying in the sky, learning how to throw his fireballs. Susan's showing, getting shown how to use her powers. Really cool. A lot of fans complained that for the first 45 minutes to almost an hour, it's basically just them going into the new dimension and learning the powers. I liked that. I liked how it showed, with some montages, how they got their powers, how they learned to use them. I liked how they were working for the government. I like how it was Ben that was sent to go find Reed and bring him back. It was really cool. It didn't drag at all for me. Yeah, and it captivated. I was never ever bored. Um, I liked how when Victor is brought back, and Reed wants to talk to him first, after he's turned into, Doctor Doom. And I don't know a lot about Doctor Doom's powers. So if it's not the same as the character, I don't know. I don't care. But Tim Blake Nelson as Harvey Allen goes in there and talks to him. And it's this really cool scene. This is a violent scene. Doom wakes up, and I guess he's got telekinetic powers, and he is dropping the ceiling on some of these scientists. He's making heads explode inside their suits. And I really got a Darth Vader feeling, Darth Vader going apeshit, killing everybody with the Force. I really got that feeling here. And again, it was cool. It was fun. It was something different. This movie's only like an hour and 40 minutes long. It was a nice change of pace instead of the usual fucking 2 hour plus Marvel films. Liked it a lot. The downside, there are some. Again, the fight between, like the other films, the fight between Doom and the Fantastic Four at the end is very short. In here, I liked what it was, but I just wish there was more. Wish there was more Doom. Doctor Doom. We don't get that much. We don't get him as Doctor Doom until the hour mark. No, the hour 15-minute mark. But when he's on screen, I really like it. I just wish there was more. There's some stupid lines like when before he becomes a Human Torch and they go into the new dimension, Johnny, of course, has to hold up his camera phone and say this is going on Instagram. That's fucking retarded. Um, but other than that, there's not a lot about this film that I dislike. I really, like I said, had a lot of fun. I was never bored. Likable characters, really good special effects, in my opinion. A lot of people said the special effects were shit. I had no problem with them. You know, I've seen a lot worse. Um, like I said, I love the tragedy of the Ben character. I love the conflict between Ben and Reed, how they were friends, but they no longer were friends because basically all this shit happened to Ben. Um, the violence. I was surprised at how violent it was for this type of comic book film. Um, yeah, like I said, in the end, I gotta say, Fantastic Four 2015. Is it worth the hate? Absolutely not. I recommend this film. Really, really enjoyed it. I would honestly probably buy this, maybe not full price on home on DVD or Blu-ray. Apparently DVD they're cheaper. But if I found this in, like the $10 section at fucking Walmart or something, definitely pick it up. Highly, highly enjoyed Fantastic Four 2015. And hopefully, with this video, you might give it a chance. It is definitely not worth fucking 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't give a shit what anyone says. And that's all I gotta say. If I've forgotten anything, I don't know. So it obviously wasn't that important. Negative or positive. Oh, and Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson, he's there as an asshole teacher. Whoop-de-fucking do. But, yeah. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll give Fantastic Four 2015 a shot. Maybe I've convinced you. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Check out my other stuff. This Is It Worth the Hate is going to be an ongoing thing. I've gotten requests for Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson, Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone and Rob Schneider. We'll see. And I also got a new concept that I'm going to do also called Is It Worth the Hype, where I take a popular film, a well-loved film that I haven't seen, basically the opposite of this, like Jaws. I haven't seen that all from the beginning to the end. The Godfather, Deer Hunter, all this stuff, I'll say if it's worth the hype. So if you have any requests, feel free to pump them out. And with this, I will say cheers. And flame on.